what I find fascinating about life and people, and I think one of the keys to self-development is to continually upgrade yourself and to upgrade your version. Like, what version are you on now? You know, I think it's so easy just to kind of get stuck and just to stay in the same
with your comfort zone.
To stay in that comfort zone, as you said. So for you to kind of say, okay, need a new version. You know, I think change is very difficult, and it's an underestimated quality, the ability to be able to change and to move and grow. People think, oh, that's easy, but it's very difficult to do that.
Absolutely.
And to, you know,
because you're facing the fears from the change, right? And then not just facing it, you experience it, and then you overcome that.
Absolutely. And also, you have to let go of your ego when you change.
Exactly.
Because you have to, you know, face the possibility that you could fall, judgment, and you just have to say, you know what, and release my ego and just go.
All the judgments that I find out, there's nothing to do with me. It's all their words. I don't need to know. I don't want to hear. I mean, it's that their perceptions about me. It's not, maybe it's real me and maybe it's not real me. I mean, so I don't care.
Exactly. Because you can, one of the things my dad, I always talk about my dad because he's my guru, my philosopher. Being a minority, and I don't know how it was for you growing up as, I suppose you didn't grow up in England, right?
No, I only moved to England about 12 years ago.
Growing up in England, you know, with Caribbean parents, you know, who grew up in the 60s as a minority.
Gosh.
One of the perceptions is that if you walk into a room, people are looking at you because you're different, because you're a minority, because you're black, because you're, you know, whatever, you're different. And my dad always said to me, unless you ask somebody why they are looking at you, you don't know. So they're looking at you because they think you're amazing. That's why people are staring at you. So I think that was one of my father always instilled confidence in me. Whereas it's very easy to say, oh, they're looking at me because they don't like me, they don't want me, because I'm different, because I'm a minority and I don't belong here. But unless you walk up to every single one of those people and say, are you looking at me because I don't belong? You don't know. So why not just think it's because everybody loves you and wants you? And what do you have to lose?
Exactly,
You know? So it might not be true, but what does it matter?
For sure it's true. You're absolutely gorgeous. That's why everybody look at you, because you are so beautiful, not because you are black.
Well, you don't know. You don't know. But but that was what I was taught. It was to believe that you belong, and to look at the glass as half full rather than half empty. And I think that was really helped me.
Such a great philosopher. From your dad.
Yes.
Yeah. Your career from psychologist, management, and then models, agency, now it's coming to acting.
All right, so we're going to talk about opportunity again.
Sex and City is okay.
All right, so you've seen the show Sex and the City, right? So New York, that show is pretty true to New York life. I'd say most of the women in New York, to be honest, I think all women who would watch Sex and the City internationally can somehow identify with one of the characters. But it is I'd say it's a very, they're definitely very New York situations. So Bravo is a very big TV network in the States. They have the Housewives franchise, which is a big international show. Not sure, you would know this, but they have Housewives of New York, Atlanta. I think Atlanta is their biggest show. So they did kind of like it's almost like a prequel to the Housewives. So young, successful women in New York who are living the real Sex and the City lifestyle. The show was actually already on on air. I wasn't on the first season of the show, but I did watch the show and I was a fan of the show. I actually really loved the show. I thought, wow, I'd love to be on that show. And just out of coincidence...
What's the show's name, by the way?
The show was called Blood, Sweat and Heels.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
It was about...
Blood, Sweat
and Heels. Yes.
Wow, what a name. Shows like the challenge for feminism for young girls. Okay, right.
Yeah, which is essentially about, I think 5 or 6 women who were navigating their way around life, career, love in New York City. Single single career women. As I said, I wasn't on the first season, but I did, just out of coincidence, I knew one of the cast members because she'd interviewed me for a magazine about my business, maybe some years before that. So we kind of stayed in touch, and she messaged me one day and asked me if I'd be interested in joining the show.
Wow, an opportunity. Boom, coming here again.
Yeah, so I auditioned for the role and became part of the cast for season 2, which was a really fun experience.
That is amazing.
And then I did an Off-Broadway show off the back of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we don't have enough time. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask you to speak Jamaican English as you try to crash it down, like to protect that role. You learned the language again, right? The accents, which is very difficult.
It was quite difficult to do a Jamaican accent, I have to say.
I know.
Even though, but,
yeah. Okay.
I did it. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
I was playing a Jamaican character in the show, a mother. Actually.
Wow. Okay.
Which I found offensive because I should have been playing the daughter.
But the actress is like, it doesn't matter, right? The way that you perform with the accents,
So that was really stretching my limits because I've never done anything like that before. But as the type of person I am, I just say yes and see where the chips fall.
Yes, for opportunities, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the main takeaways that I have from my experience is that you cannot let fear rule you. Fear, I believe, is the number one saboteur of your success. If you have fear, then that will be your downfall. You just have to go for it. And I think when you are young, you are less fearful. So, I mean, again, I'm not perfect. I do, there are many things that have grown over you become fearful of. And would I, at the age I am now, maybe would I be as spontaneous? I'm not sure if I would necessarily be as spontaneous as I would be. But at the time, the type of person I was, and probably, still am to some degree, as I said, would be, I wouldn't let anyone else's mindset interfere with how I was thinking. Because a lot of people, family, friends, just people will impose their own fear levels on you.
Well, that's a great insight. So what happening after like the TV series, you conquer your actress life? Did you enjoy that?
I loved it. I loved building my career from scratch. I loved getting the opportunity to be on a national TV show. So I fulfilled a lot of my dreams. But I think one of the difficulties of New York, which again speaks to the Sex and the City experience, is it's very difficult to formulate relationships. So as I was getting older, I started to feel that I really needed to focus on my love life and my family.
Exactly, like a Sex and the City clarifies the Mr. Big.
Exactly.
So tell us, how did you find your Mr. Big?
Well, I actually made a conscious decision that if I were to settle down and to find love, that I had to move from New York. Because I saw a lot of my friends. Well, New York is a very, very difficult place. I think it's one of the number one places in most difficult to marry or to settle down. It's one of the most difficult cities in the world, actually.
So what's in the Sex and City is true?
Yeah, it's all true.
Love story.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is the statistics. I think there are 5, okay, don't quote me on this, but there's around 5 women to like 2 men or something. It's a crazy statistic. So
wow.
yeah, the odds are against you, basically. And you're in a city full of the most beautiful people, the most wealthiest people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a difficult
Well, if
place.
I want to marry finding a wealthy husband, so this New York have a lots of wealthy
Who
husbands,
has
right?
lots and lots of wealthy men, yes. Then they also have lots of 19, 20-year-old models as well that New York men seem to have a penchant for. and those girls still may not get married to these guys.
No.
So, yeah. It's,
Okay. So the reason you moved back to England because you want to, you have a sense of a feeling that you want to.
yeah, I wanted to
settle
focus on
down.
my relationship and focus on getting married and building a family. And as a woman, when I was with my family, as I was growing up, I was always kind of taught to go to university to focus on my career. I was never
Which
really,
you did.
yeah, and I never really focused on getting married or having a family. It was always kind of about my career. So I made a conscious decision to move back to London, change my lifestyle completely because I was
Not working that crazy anymore.
Well, I still had my
Chilled.
agency. I still had my agency in New York. So I was a nylon. So going back and forth, New York, London. I was going back and forth, and obviously COVID hit,
Oh yeah.
and that changed a lot of things. And I just decided, and in that period, I started playing tennis. Changed a lot about my lifestyle. Actually, I gave up alcohol, which was very, very, I think, central to my development and my evolution. I mean, I was a social drinker. I mean, I can't say I had a problem with alcohol specifically, but I think without alcohol, my life got better. I just kind of figured that alcohol at some point just wasn't serving me. There was no real upside because when you're younger, you can go out, you drink, and it's all fine. You wake up the next morning quick, but as you start getting older, the hangovers get a bit worse. The fry-ups, after a big night out. So for me, it just wasn't. Didn't really serve me, and you wake up in the morning and you want to pursue some of your goals, like working out or doing whatever, some of your hobbies, but whatever, you could be tired or whatever. So I just thought, this isn't serving me. And I think if something doesn't serve you, just let it go. So I just stopped, just like that. And I started playing tennis. And
find the love of your life.
Yeah, and I met my husband playing tennis. Actually, he was my tennis partner. We, played. We were just friends. We were friends for about a year, and then I realized this is my man. So then we got married 2 or 3 years ago.
Wow.
3 years ago now.
So now, your cozy home in London.
Yes.
Having the love of your life, and then doesn't go out social anymore. And
just a little bit social, not as social, but
business.
Not for. I am working on a new business now. Kind of, we've sorted out the relationship
your life now.
So I am working on a new business now, a technology company, which I will be launching, and maybe we can talk about that in our next interview.
When it's ready, right?
Yes,
So gosh, you never stop to be a entrepreneur. You never stop looking for the next stage to accelerate your business, right?
Exactly. I mean, again, I did have to stop for a while because I really thought, I think you underestimate what the time and the commitment it takes to meet the right partner. And I never made that a job, so I had to actually make it a job.
What a smart lady you are. So basically, you park yourself for a bit and finding yourself like your home.
Exactly. I had to really just kind of dig deep into myself and say, okay, what is it that I need? What is it that I have to offer? What is my USP as an individual? And kind of growing from there and really being just, I suppose, open to all possibilities when it comes to relationships.
So good, brilliant. And I'm sure that's with your new business, you're going to accelerate even higher.
I hope so.
Thank you so much, Chantelle, today.
Thank you very much, Jojo.
Thank
It was a pleasure.